Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Writers Mindscape. You're an idiot, Adam. I swear to God.
Hey, it's a thing.
Hold on. I swear to me.
Okay,
Okay. Oh, by the way, Adam, I just want to congratulate you.
Yes.
You went an entire episode without bringing up that dumb burning bush. So I want to applaud you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Kind of like Moses applauded the burning bush.
No, he just yelled at it. Why are you burning? What did I take? That was what. Oh, they told me it was a Jeffrey.
Wow. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Tim.
I'm Adam.
And today we're continuing our topic, discussion, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
On society. I think we actually only have one more. This is the last one, right?
This is the last one.
Okay. So today we're going to be talking about, what is it, Adam?
Arts and architecture.
Yeah, I don't care about this. We're done. No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, actually I do like this stuff.
Yeah, because, I mean, this is, beyond the culture. This is how does your society represent itself in art?
To me, actually, like, art and architecture is actually one of the key things that defines a culture and a society.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's one of the most visible.
Yeah.
It's the easiest thing to point at and go, oh, that society does this.
Yeah.
Outside of military and war.
Yeah. Because when we look at back in the past, like the Greeks, we look at their style of architecture and the art that came from there, and we're like, that's Greek.
Yeah.
We can tell that's from the Greek.
It's a style.
And as
the Renaissance.
Yep.
You look at it and you're like, okay, well, that was, art from this area during this period.
Yep.
But then there was these other guys in Italy that were just putting everything out there.
Yeah. Similar thing with the art for the Greeks is, depending on the time period, art changed.
Oh, yeah. It
Basically,
constantly does.
When you look at the was it Michelangelo?
Part of the Renaissance.
No, David. His statue.
Yes.
The David, is done in a Greek.
It's in a Greek style.
It's Greek style. But what era is it
it's
from?
It's still, it's from the Renaissance, and it still has a...
Oh, no. What style of Greek?
Oh, I have no idea.
The chiseled look of Greek, they always kind of had that form, but how detailed changes based on what era it comes from. So it's like, it just kind of, I didn't realize that, but I found that out a few months ago. I'm like, that's kind of cool, though. I had no clue that, but that it goes to show that if you redo research and stuff like that, you can find that out.
There's something always out there.
Yes. So, but again, it's a really important part of a society and culture, because if you're trying to get a thing apart across for for a society or something like that, the easy way to do it is to do it in this area. Yeah. A good example of this is, surprisingly, I'm not using a Brandon Sanderson reference.
Oh my God, no?
No.
Holy crap.
I'm actually using DJ McHale reference. DJ McHale is the author of the Pendragon series. Mm-hmm. He's also the guy who created Are You Afraid of the Dark on Nickelodeon.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so before my childhood.
Not mine, but yes.
But everyone knows what that show was. But he created that show. He did this book series. And in book 7, he has his main character, Bobby Pendragon, go to a different world where it's all about like debts, and this giant corporation was able to beat out everyone else and offer lower prices, but people have debts, so they're gambling on these games, and you go to these games to compete, and they're to the death.
Oh, of course.
Stuff like that. But people gambling, and if you win, you can solve problems, or not. You could be thrown in and actually become part of the games.
Oh, wow.
And he describes some of the artwork and architecture in there, and it's bland.
It's very...
There's
yeah.
And they actually try to burn all the stuff like that from their past.
Oh, wow.
To get rid of it. And just like, that's interesting. And it's a good way to show what they're trying to do, because all these other more elaborate stuff require emotions and thought speaking out against stuff.
Okay. All right.
Well, if everything's bland, well,
there's nothing really to speak out against.
Yeah, there's nothing really to look at because you may still buy, but it's like
you're not going to, have the will to go, hey, I kind of want more.
Yeah.
I don't like where I'm at. Yeah,
it's definitely a good way to do that, and that's what you can do. Look at Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
For Sauron and the orcs. Is it the orcs? Yeah.
Yes.
And it's the armor they have. It's very rigid, pointy, almost looks rusted in a sense.
Yep.
Whereas like the elves is smooth, angular.
It's very artistic.
Yes. So it goes to show you like it can get a lot of things. I'm getting sick and tired of seeing that kind of division.
Yes.
Two things, but it definitely fit in well with that kind of thing for Lord of the Rings. But too many people copy that.
Yes. Yeah.
Way too many people copy that.
But I mean, like, for me, looking back at, period pieces.
Yes.
Watching the, how plays are done.
Yep.
Are these plays for the people, and do they subvert characters that are representations of, the ruling class?
Yep.
Do you have graffiti in your world?
Yeah.
Is that part of art? Do you have a mysterious Banksy-like character who keeps putting political message graffiti all over the place? And, he's wanted by the... Do you have V?
A good example...
Banksy V?
The good example I saw of this was from... Actually, going to bring a different podcast into this run, as for our wrestling podcast.
Yes.
On Eddie Guerrero's DVD... They had before he passed away, and they did one where he actually shows like the artwork, the graffiti and tagging, and he's saying, no, this is actually part of our culture now that we brought over from our past, where they had cave drawings, and all that stuff.
And then you drew on the side of a building.
Now it's become part of that kind of society. I'm like, and he loves it. And he looks forward to seeing new things that could pop up. I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's a great way to represent like a different thing. Well, some people will say, no, that's vandalism. It's a different people's like, no, this is part of us.
No, that's art. It's on the it's a mural on the exterior of a wall.
Yep.
Now, at the same time, there is bad graffiti out there.
Yes. Oh, terrible.
Like just a straight tag, and I'm like, come on, does this need to be here?
Yeah.
Marines in a latrine. Just if you've been a Marine or served in the military, you know what gets drawn on the inside of latrines.
Yeah.
Just gonna leave that there.
And if you're gonna tag something,
it's dicks. Lots and lots of dicks.
If you're going to tag something, please make sure you use proper punctuation.
Yes, I mean, really.
We don't need a Ted Mosby coming around me and starting to fix everything.
I will go around. I do like that too. But yeah, like, do you have a thriving artistic environment? Is there an underground that's, when I say underground, not mainstream underground, that type of thing. I'm saying underground as in, these people are wanted by the law for what they are playing in music and all that stuff.
A good example is this.
Do you have a town like Footloose?
A good example of this is like when if you look at the history of theater.
Yes.
Is when the church was in power, lots of things were like condemned.
Oh yeah.
And weren't allowed to be shown or there, and what was very...
But there was still an underground movement to create them.
Yeah, but it was very heavy. And if you were found out, you could be in huge trouble.
Right.
Arrested, killed, because of the church.
Yes.
So it goes to show you how your society works. It also goes back to some of the things we talked about in religions.
Yes.
Of how one of the negatives of religions can corrupt and brainwash. Not brainwash, but...
No. I mean, you can kill an artistic world just by doing this.
Yes.
By having too much of a theocracy.
Yep.
Or, I mean, at the same time, you can build a dynamic out of the artist versus the authority. Mm-hmm. Or you could have, the authority trying to, use the art world to further their, through propaganda.
Yep.
So there is so much within art that you can have. You can have, what if one of your nations is a really authoritarian, totalitarian style government? What kind of architecture are you going to have? Is it going to be, this, wonderful, flowery, architecture, but everyone knows that they're in a totalitarian, so it's throwing that dynamic off of having a utilitarian style of architecture where it's like, it's just there for utility. That's it. Or do you have a vibrant architecture?
To me, you look back in history, at times I think you would look at different time periods. I don't know when, nothing comes to mind at the moment, but we would like, architecture was just a building. They didn't care how it looked.
Nope.
But then
it just existed.
It just existed. But over time, in some societies, it became a building. How can we make it look more aesthetically pleasing?
Yes. How can we make people want to come here?
Yep. And to a point where it becomes architecture, which was a point of building stuff so that it will stand up and stay together, becomes an art form of making it more, not just do that, but actually appeasing.
Yes.
So that's why, if anyone was wondering why we put these together, that's the main reason why. Because architecture, it serves a purpose because it is the structure and design of buildings is part of it, but it's also art.
Yes.
Everything can be considered art in a form. Even the art of doing surgery.
Yes.
Science.
Science can be an art.
Yeah. So it really comes down to all these different things. I mean, we're taking it more on the arts of like paints.
Yes.
Stuff like that. But everything can be a part of art if you, to a certain degree.
Yeah, because art regarding like plays, stuff like that, entertainment.
Yeah.
That can be, how does your world have that?
Yep.
Is it just, is entertainment just this one or two things that are allowed by the government and news?
Yep.
Or is it, this other, do you have pirate radio?
Yeah.
Do you have pirate television?
A thing that we've had these last
I like the underground right now.
Yes, you do. One of the things that we've had in the last few episodes was how to make your world feel alive.
Yes.
When it doesn't necessarily mean. This is a good part. Like how design of buildings, art in the buildings or around is how it's used will help flesh out this world and make it look more real and alive.
Yeah. I mean, a great way of blending it into your story is as your character, as you're describing the everyday life of the character, add in what's going on in the art world around it. Be like, oh yeah, as my character came through the living room or the sitting room, there's a big mural of their grandfather up there, the great war hero. And you're like, oh, okay. That you describe how the house is laid out. This is how you describe what the architecture is like.
Yeah. A good example, if you want to get some character traits over on a character using this area, is maybe your main character needs a sword. All he or she cares about is a sword. But the person he's getting it from is in a society that it's very elegant and craftful.
Ornamental.
And your character is very impatient.
Yeah.
And watching him to see them craft it out, like, no, I want this, and redraw, and like, seeing the person react, and then going to make it, but it's still very ornamental, and it's like, no, just give me the goddamn sword.
I just need something with a sharp edge about yay long. That's all I care.
And then describing the blade, having that, and then describe the blade, what it looks like, and you go like, this is not what I just needed a blade. You wasted my time.
Yeah.
And it kind of just goes to show you how you can do different things like this. Or maybe it's like the person's just all inspired by this blade.
Yeah.
Because they were expecting a pointy sword.
They were expecting, a long piece of metal with a blade, with a sharp edge.
Yep.
And instead they got this amazing piece of art that also is extremely sharp and pointy.
And they don't really want to use because they don't want to ruin it.
Yeah, they're like, I can't. They're like, you have to use it. It
like,
will slay the dragon that you need to slay.
Like,
now go chase that dragon.
Wow.
You'll never catch it, though.
I mean, it can be one of the things like the person, your main character, I don't want to disrespect the person, the time they put into putting this, and then they're like, "What do you mean disrespect?"
Yeah.
Me. It's a weapon. It's meant to.
I mean,
you made it look all good, and like, no, so
you want to
look as a weapon.
You want to look at a society that did a very good job of leveling the field between art and military and weapon. Japan.
Yes.
Japan had a very good, the way that the katana is thought of, like the fact that it is built for one purpose.
Yep.
And that is to draw blood.
Yep. And it's an extension of you.
Yeah.
It's not something you're holding on to. No, it is part of you.
There are some that are absolutely beautiful, but at the base, no matter what they did for ornamentation on it,
yep,
the base is still a piece of metal with a sharp edge on it.
Yep.
And that's its design, but it is glorious to look at.
Yep.
So I mean, like, that's what I mean by you can have these wonderful art pieces. You could have a rapier that wiggles in the moonlight a specific way because that's what's going on with it. But it's still at its purpose, especially with weapons, has to be a weapon. Don't get too crazy with it.
Oh yeah, no, it really goes down and shows you.
But your art can always have a political message.
Oh yeah, I mean you can do so much with it.
Oh yeah,
in this thing.
You describe your character waking up in the morning and there's a poster on the wall of the dead Kennedys, and you're like, oh, all right, this person likes punk music.
Oh yeah.
And then on the other wall was a Justin Bieber poster. I don't know. And you're like, oh, that's confusing.
Maybe you have in your society someone tagged a building with its elegant piece of art, but which is beautiful, but it's inflaming against the king.
Yes.
So you can describe how that is. Maybe everyone loves it. Maybe it's like, oh, how dare someone do that?
Yeah.
Or like they're all excited, but the guards are trying to get to ruin it, but people won't let them.
Right.
It's all, you can have so much fun with this using these elements here. Adam, you have anything else you want to add to this?
That is everything I've got to add.
That's good. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us know what you have to say about this podcast down in the comment section. But on your way down there, be sure to swing over there and hit that thumbs up.
Boom.
You made it to the end of this podcast. You clearly are loving what you're listening to. And move on over a little bit and hit that subscribe button.
Ding.
And ring that bell.
Ding, ding.
What's our stupid slogan this week?
Oh man, I thought I had a good one a little bit ago. Oh yeah. Join that notifications squad, and if you're not down with that, I've got 2 words for you.